Let's move to domestic matters. Two big areas of Labour government policy will be the Great British Energy Company and the Great British Railway Company, by the sounds of things. I'm not sure what the official name will be, but Keir Starmer is selling this now as nationalising rail and energy are our patriotic mission, says Labour. So this is more than just, you know, as far as he's concerned, more than just making things work better, but actually almost a sense of duty to do this.
Yeah, I think this is a really, especially with the railways, it's particularly interesting because this is, you know, nationalising the railways is a very, seen as a very socialist, a very left-wing thing to do. It was actually a policy that was first, you know, advocated by Jeremy Corbyn back in 2017. But actually, given the state of the railways in private ownership, it's clear that something needs to happen, especially in the north of England. Services aren't running on time. People are, you know, missing appointments. They're not able to actually rely on the railways in any shape or form. At the same time, as you see rail fares, you know, skyrocket, and that's and then at the, you know, now we have work from home as well. So the railways, you know, people are really not able to use them in the way you might think because they're not working. They're incredibly expensive, and actually there are other ways of doing things with remote working. And so I think the government has, you know, realised that actually this is one policy. It may be very left-wing, it may be very socialist, but actually when you look at it, it's around 69% of voters actually support the nationalisation of the railway, and it's quite a populist move. And actually, Keir Starmer, by doing it, can be quite successful, I think.
Indeed. I was just going to add, Theo, and you will know this as well, there's quite a lot of Conservative MPs you would talk to who also are in favour of renationalising the railways. I think I'm right in saying Peter Hitchens is in favour of renationalising the railways, which is some sort of marker of how this does go across political thinking. I guess the problem with this, I mean, they're talking about more than half of trains to be state-run within a year. Will passengers notice? Because what we really want is more efficiency and cheaper rail fares. So regardless of who owns it, and it's such a complex labyrinthine system, isn't it, that, you know, somebody owns the tracks, somebody else owns the stations, somebody else owns the timetables. It's completely splintered. Will we tangibly see what they've done, and will it make a difference to us?
I think what's interesting is that when you look at the plans, they're looking at going at breakneck speed. They're looking at around half the railways nationalised within a year. And I think one of the ideas is actually when you look at what they want to do, they also want to bring in Network Rail, which owns the tracks, within Great British Rail as well, so that you actually have one system.
Yeah.
But I think you're right to say, Ian, that if this goes wrong, if passengers don't see an improvement in services, if trains continue to be cancelled, if fares continue to rise in order to finance the railways, it is a gamble for Keir Starmer and for Louise Haigh, his Transport Secretary, because they're going to take the blame. There's going to be no more hiding and saying, well, here you've got this fat cat franchise boss who's on a triple-figure bonus, you know, six-figure bonus, let's blame him. No. There's not going to be a hiding place for Keir Starmer on this. If it works well and people see an improvement in the services and they see that fares remain steady and they don't suddenly rise exponentially, then he's going to take the credit. But if it goes badly, there is no hiding place. And I think there is a gamble with that, because you can easily say and make the argument that actually the railways are too complex to fix, it's too difficult to fix, and the trend is away from commuting. You know, the reason these Tory MPs are particularly keen, many of these Tory MPs are particularly keen on nationalising the railways or a different way of working, is because many of them have constituencies in the home counties around London, and it's their constituents who are banging on their doors, filling up their email inboxes, filling up their mailbags, saying, why aren't you doing something? Because I can't get to work on time. Or even if I'm working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's a complete hassle to get to work and I can't get home in the evening and so forth. And that's why you're seeing that pressure from the Conservatives. But, you know, overall, if this falls flat and it doesn't work and people don't see an improvement, there's only one person who's going to end up getting the blame, and that's Keir Starmer.
Absolutely right. The buck cannot be passed to the previous government on this one. Listen, Theo, great to have you on as ever. Thank you. Theo Usherwood, political commentator, running through some of those big stories of the day. Thank you to him. He's back soon on Talk very, very shortly. 0344 499 1000. Comments on that. Back to our main story as well. What should the penalty be for the level of antisocial behaviour we saw in Leeds last night? The arrests have begun. I mean, I would only imagine that Matey, who set fire to the bus, is likely number one on the list. That characters go to jail for a long time, I would suggest. We will watch with interest. The police in West Yorkshire say there are more arrests to come over the coming days.